Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to call the session to order. We are beginning slightly late, I think due to weather challenges, but Honorable Minister and your team, I want to welcome you. I think without much ado, let me invite you to raise for the national anthems. Please take your seats. Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, and your team, the Right Honorable Secretary General of the party. My name is Bashasha Wills, Director Manifesto at the Presidency, and on behalf of the Presidency that supervises the monitoring of the implementation, I take pleasure to welcome you, Minister, and your team. But I also want to say in a special way this morning in this session, we are privileged to have the representative of the Secretary General, who is none other than the Deputy Secretary General of the party, Right Honorable Rose Namayanja. For you, I have to introduce you in a special way. You are most welcome, and we are happy to be with you. In other sessions, we have been having representatives of the party, not at this scale. And as you are aware, we are dealing with this issue of the manifesto. So your presence here adds weight to the whole process. You are most welcome, Deputy Right Honorable Secretary General. So Honorable Minister and your team, once again, you are most welcome. I don't need to go through the background. This was before Cabinet, and you are one of the supporters at that moment. I would only say that this sector, our viewers, wherever you are, this sector is one of the critical sectors in our economy. First of all, it employs many of our citizens, and in the crafting of the manifesto, one of the key thematic areas, which is about creation of wealth and jobs, this sector plays a very, very critical role. It has many commitments that is under its jurisdiction for implementation. So we are privileged to have you here, and then as we listen to you on this journey, we will be able to celebrate, but also to be able to account to our citizens where we stand in the role played by this sector. Honorable Minister, the method here is a media interactive approach. This is not a baraza, this is not a rally. We are using media as a medium through which we can reach as many people as possible. This is streamed live on UBC, and we have many warriors from the media including the online, who are also sharing links with as many citizens as possible, and they will be able to follow these events alive. So feel at home. We will invite you here to make your presentation or tell the country how far we have gone on the various commitments within this very fundamental sector. And after that, we will have some observations from us as the people who monitor, and then we will formally invite a few questions, not a few, but a session of two of questions from media, and then you will be invited again to make a response. But I also need to assure you on this that you are at liberty to invite any of your technical teams to come also and make responses which may support the necessary concerns that will have been observed or raised. So since time is not on our side, allow me now to use this pleasure and singular honor to invite you, Honorable Minister, to come here and address the country on the status of manifesto implementation in the sector you supervise. Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, you will come to the podium.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Chair, representing the Secretary General of the party, all of you distinguished participants, let me first of all say that agriculture is a very big ministry, and it employs roughly about 73% of the population directly and indirectly. So it is multi-sectoral, and I've come with a very big delegation here from different departments and agencies of Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Allow me to introduce them. If you can come here and introduce yourself and which sector you represent, then I can start my my presentation. Is that the practice?
The mics are working.
They are working. Okay.
Honorable Minister, my name is Collins Amani. I'm an assistant commissioner planning in the Ministry of Agriculture. Honorable Minister, my name is Peter Miengo, coordinating China Uganda Agriculture Cooperation South Cooperation Project. Honorable Minister, my name is Walter Joseph, the acting commissioner for Fisheries Education.
Honorable Minister, I'm Wes Kizera, I head Planning and Atlantic, I'm representing the Deputy Director.
Honorable Minister, my name is Stephen Katabasi, I'm assistant commissioner from the Department of Protection. Honorable Minister, I'm Attorney David, I'm the Director for Strategy and Business Development. Honorable Minister, my name is Godfrey Budisa Secretary. I'm acting executive director, NAT Secretariat. Honorable Minister, Engineer Tondo James Kasole, the Principal Engineer of the Ministry of Agriculture, under the Department of Agricultural Infrastructure, Organization, and Aquaculture Production.
Honorable Minister, my name, work for the Department of Agricultural Infrastructure, Mechanization, and Water for Agricultural Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. This is a agriculture sector implementation status of the NRM Manifesto 21-26 commitments. The government, the NRM government committed to do many things as I will go. You just read for me from there. So, agriculture remains the main backbone of Uganda's economic growth. Agriculture grew by 5.1% and contributed 24.6% in financial year 23-24 of the national GDP and continues to employ approximately 70% of Uganda's population, directly or indirectly. In absolute terms, the GDP increased from Uganda shillings 35.360 trillion in financial year 2021 to Uganda shillings 49 trillion 0.722 in financial year 2024. The value of agricultural export registered tremendous growth of 42% from US dollars 1.678 billion in financial year 2021 to US dollars 2.535 billion in financial year 2023-24. The performance was attributed to increased volumes and quality of coffee, dairy, fish, maize exported outside of the country. In financial year 2021-26, NRM Manifesto committed to support key strategic commodities to ensure greater impact on household incomes and export earnings. Emphasis of the intervention has therefore focused on commodity value chain, research, extension, pest and vested disease control, provision of inputs, agriculture mechanization, provision of water for production and irrigation, promoting sustainable land use and soil management, post-harvest handling and value addition, and improving market access for all the commodities we have promoted in different communities. Agriculture, commercialization, and industrialization. Manifesto pledge: improving quality of coffee to achieve large coffee beans of screen 18 grade. Government mobilized farmers to stamp over 15 million old and productive coffee trees and availed over 150,000 bags of organic fertilizers to improve productivity and quality of the coffee across the country. I also want to use this opportunity to inform the country that our production system is organic. We will not allow inorganic fertilizers and we don't promote them anyway. Over 124.7 million coffee seedlings to 207,000 farmers in Elgon, West Nile, Rwenzori, Northern Greater Masaka, Southwestern, Eastern, and Central region. Through NARO, 3 new wilt-resistant varieties, CWDR 8, 9, 10, with yielding potential up to 3.9 tons per hectare, have been developed and promoted countrywide, depending on suitability. 30,671 value chain actors, farmers, coffee processors, buyers, and exporters have been trained in good harvesting and post-harvest handling practices, picking ripe coffee, proper drying, and washing practices and storage. Increase coffee production to 20 million 60 kg bags by 2025. 534 coffee farmers supported with small-scale irrigation systems. The annual coffee production for the 4 years under review is 8.1 million bags in financial year 2021, 8.45 million bags in financial year 21-22, 7.8 million 60 kg bags in financial year 2022-23, and 8.2 million 60 kg bags in financial year 2023-24. The value of coffee export increased over the 4 years from US dollars 559 million in financial year 2021, USD 863 million in financial year 21-22, US dollars 846 million in financial year 2022-23, and US dollars 1,143.8 million, 1,143 million point 8 in financial year 2023-24. You can see the tremendous achievement in this area. Therefore, as regarding to the manifesto pledge, I think here we have registered very effective, successful story. Increase agriculture production to ensure food and nutrition security and commercialization. Maize as a commodity. Government distributed 3,036,893 kilograms of maize seed to 303,668 households under the Food Security Initiative. In 2023, the government distributed seed to farmers in Karamoja under Special Food Security Program, Karamoja maize, 150,000 kgs of sorghum, 70,000 kgs of simsim, 14,000 kgs, cowpeas, 30,000 kilograms, while beans, 30,000 kgs, green gran, 35,000 kgs. Additionally, 200,000 kgs of maize seed were provided to farmers' cooperatives in Kapeka, Nakaseke districts. Through NARO, 2 new maize varieties were released. Maize 63 Vita, high grain yielding 7.0 to 7.8 tons per hectare. Maize 64 STR, resistant to striga, and yield at 6.5 to 7.5 tons per hectare in striga infested areas. On commercialization of agriculture, distribution of 22,158,614 tea seedlings. The government distributed over 47 million seedlings to 24 tea growing districts, but tea production declined from 84,448 metric tons in financial year 2021 to 76,975 metric tons in financial year 2023-24, with export value falling from US dollars 85.49 million to US dollars 67.1 million US dollars due to farmers' limited access to fertilizers. To address these challenges, the government plans to procure cheap fertilizers which farmers will access through processing factories with cost recoveries from the green leaf suppliers. A total of 141,938,271 tea seedlings, worth Uganda shillings 56.8 billion, were procured and distributed under cabinet decision during the financial year 2022 season B. Additionally, procured and distributed 141,938,271 tea seedlings, worth Uganda shillings 56,755,201,404 under cabinet decision procuring tea and coffee from verified nurseries during the season B. However, government has set aside funds under financial year 24-25, Uganda shillings 17.262 billion out of 56 billion .755 to meet domestic areas for tea seedlings under this cabinet decision. Distribution of 658,070 apple seedlings equivalent to 5 billion 922,630 under the President Directive to supply apple seedlings for season 2022-23. However, there is no communication regarding payment of domestic areas for apple seedlings supplied under the Presidential Directive. Cassava. Our target was to distribute 250 bags of cassava cuttings to more farmers. Government has distributed 537,000 bags of cassava cuttings to 80 districts in Acholi sub-region and 5 districts in Lango sub-region as part of the cassava commercialization project in partnership with Guru Archdiocese. The government of Uganda through UDC intervened in Bukoma Agro-Processor Limited by providing additional machinery and working capital for the factory operations. The factory commenced commercial operations in May 2021. UDC is exploring modalities of establishing 400 metric tons per day of cassava processing for starch under the Acholi Boo Parish project pioneering by the Catholic Diocese of Gulu. Distribution of 200 bags, Support establishment of a chocolate factory in Bundubujo. Feasibility. The feasibility study has been concluded for establishment of the factory as a joint venture between UDC, private sector, and the local community. Land for the project has been identified in Kinyamwirima village, Mataisa parish, Tuoke sub-county, Bundubujo district. Government through NARO has started the process of establishing the National Sugar Research Institute in accordance to the Sugar Act 2022. This in relationship of establishment of a sugar research center to improve sugarcane varieties for higher yields and also fetching premium money for our farmers. In this regard, Government through NARO has started the process of establishing a National Sugar Institute in accordance with the Sugar Act 2020. It has constituted a multi-institutional task force to guide engagement, to determine research priorities, appropriate human capacities required, research infrastructure, and the relevant research partnership. A benchmarking exercise at the Mauritius Sugarcane Research Institute was undertaken, and a costed proposal has also been developed to guide the establishment of the Sugarcane Research Institute. Support rice farmers in Bundibujo, Busoga, Teso, Acholi, and other sub-regions to access quality seeds. NARO raised 2 new rice varieties, rice WDR73, rice KF 239. The new varieties yield twice, i.e. 8 to 10 tons per hectare, compared to 5 tons per hectare for rice type W9. The new varieties are aromatic and highly preferred by consumers in Uganda and outside. Government through NARO established 50 rice demonstration plots in Namuronge, Doho, Butadeja, Aboteri, Lira, Orwenyi, Kibimba, and Kweni to support seed production and multiplication and knowledge transfer to uptake pathways. Support to farmers in Bukedi, Busoga, Teso, Acholi, and other sub-regions. Government established cotton, this is to do with cotton. Government established a cotton revolving fund in financial year 2014-2015 to support local textile manufacturers, and to date it has accumulated to 28 billion Uganda shillings. Through this fund, during the period under review, government has supported 2 operational textile manufacturers, i.e. Fine Spinners Uganda Limited and Southern Range Nyanza Limited, with lint cotton totaling to 27,064 bales. The 2 textile manufacturers employ over 4,000 people and produce yarn, knitted and woven fabric and garments, of which 25% is exported annually. Since 2020-21, government has processed and distributed 6,820 metric tons of cotton planting seed to 135,000 farmers across 90 districts, procured and distributed 453,214 1-acre units of pesticides and 4,651 knapsack sprayers, supplied 30,000 liters of deltamethrin, 6,000 liters of marathon, 45%, 6,000 liters of marathon, 95%, 8,000 liters of chlorpyrifos, 480 Uruva sprayers to cotton farmers in annex, in the annex. A total of 14,213 demonstration plots were established in 2,300 parishes for training farmers on production technologies. These are farmer field schools where cotton farmers go there in the village and learn practices and also compare the success stories of those who follow. Commercial oil palm growing in Kalangala. This is something to do with oil palm. The NRM government promised to reduce the import of palm oil by actually undertaking palm growing in selected suitable districts. Commercial oil palm growing in Kalangala has proved to be a game changer for rural livelihood transformation, where farmer earns an average of over 500,000 from 1 acre per month and continue to earn for the next 20 years until the palm trees are uprooted. Since its inception, a total of 16,800 hectares has been established in Kalangala, 11,352 hectares in Vuvuma, 4,100 hectares, and Maruzi, 1,348 hectares under public-private producer partnership Has it come now? The administration should be this office. Okay. I think I have to repeat this one. Or I start where you stopped. But paragraph. Okay. Government of Uganda, the NRM government pledged to increase palm production to reduce the hemorrhage on money lost in import on palm oil. So we established oil palm plantations in various suitable places. Commercial oil palm growing in Karangara has proved to be a game changer through livelihood transformation, where farmers earn an average of Uganda shillings 500,000 from 1 acre per month and continue to earn for the next 20 years until the palm trees are uprooted. Since inception, a total of 16,800 hectares has been established. In Karangara, 11,352 hectares, Buvuma, 4,100 hectares, and Maruzi, 1,348 hectares, and a public-private private producer partnership from which the country is getting 41,000 metric tons of crude palm oil, CPO, annually. I'm also glad to say that we are expanding in Sango Bay and covering a very big area. Employment creation, 2,200 farmers in Karangara, 791 farmers in Vuvuma are already engaged in oil palm, while 500 farmers in Mayuge are enjoying this, this practice. 1,500 farmers in Sango Bay and 800 farmers in Masaka have been enrolled to start planting palm oil. I can say that currently planting is going on. There are 2 oil palm mills in Karangara, and each mill employs 2,000 workers. Income: 4 years after planting, a farmer earns a net income of 100,000 per acre per month from the fresh fruit bunches and continues to earn for the same for the next 20 years. Infrastructure. Government has provided 2 ferries between Bukakata and Karangara. A 604 metric ton ferry was commissioned in 2023 at Yindi landing site. The 4th ferry in 2024 introduced between Mubende and Bubembe, and Buyama to facilitate transportation of fresh fruits bunches to the palm oil mill. Alternative livelihood, MAAIF through National Oil Palm Project, NUP, has supported 2,308 households in alternative livelihood economic opportunities. These opportunities include piggery, poultry, apiary, backyard gardening of vegetables. NOWP has supported 72 enterprises group, doubling as village saving and loan associations formed in Karangara with training on institutional development, record keeping, and financial literacy. 17 groups have been linked to the parish development model for financial inclusion. Livestock. Uganda continues to support the dairy farmers with inputs such as in-calf heifers, free pasture seed, and pasture rangeland improvement in the national milk sheds, artificial insemination, drug, milk collection centers, and bulk collecting facilities. The government has rehabilitated 5 milk collection centers in the districts of Katakwi, Kyegegwa, Kitugum, Nakasongora, Nabiswera. This has increased the number of milk collection centers to 729 from 355 in year 2023. Of course, there are others we have been commissioning and we continue to do so in the dairy shed. This has helped the reducing of milk post-harvest losses and promoted the production of quality and marketable milk and milk production. Government has, during the manifesto period, provided 6 milk coolers for farmer groups in Gomba, Kakumiro, Mubende, Kamwenji, Kayunga, Kyankwanzi. And you can see the pictures yourself. In addition, the government has distributed demonstration dairy inputs to dairy farmers, such as 942 milk cans to promote good milk handling practices and avoid contamination, cutters, production, 21 milking machines, and 4,645 kilograms of associated pasture seeds, Chloris, Guyana, Pakong, Sugar Napier, Brucaria, Cariandra, Labrab, and Cetrosam. Government trained 19,085 dairy farmers in good animal husbandry practices, pasture establishment management and conservation, animal feed technology, and clean milk production and handling practices for safe milk and also access to market. Improved 288 Jersey and Ayrshire for multiplication and subsequently availing offsprings to farmers. These breeding stocks have been have a milk producing potential of 30 liters per cow per day. Government distributed 4,294 dairy beef and dual purpose cattle breeds to farmers in 85 districts in West Nile, Teso, Sebei, Rwenzori, Mubende, Bunyoro, Bukedi, Kigezi, Bugisu, Masaka, Lango, Busoga, and Achori sub-regions. a total of 871 paraveterinary artificial insemination technicians and multiple ovulations and embryo transfer professionals have been trained and transferred to boost community breeding initiatives that are critical under the parish development model. These were picked from the local government across the country. Government distributed 1,285 artificial insemination kits in Bukedi, Lango, Ankore, Busoga, Achori, Karamoja, Teso, Buganda, Chigezi, Tororo, sub-region. These artificial insemination services can now be accessed at every sub-county. Government acquired 15 mobile assisted reproductive technologies, equipment, and 35 motorcycles modified for artificial insemination equipment to boost community breeding interventions, focusing on improving the quality of livestock genetics across the country. Over 5,000 farmers have benefited from these technologies. In an effort to increase access to superior animal genetics, a total of 325,498 doses of semen were procured at the National Bull Stud and Genetic Evaluation Center and availed to farmers countrywide to facilitate artificial insemination activities. In addition, a total of 316,402 liters of liquid nitrogen were produced and available to use in Entebbe, Mbarara, Buikwe, liquid nitrogen plants. Introduced market-responsive beef breeding stock with slaughter weight gain potential of 800 to 1,000 kilograms, 800 to 1,000 grams per day. Introduced goat boer crosses, Mubende, Kigezi, Kasorwe, etc. that have the potential to gain an average daily weight ranging from 167 to 200 grams per day, hence making them able to reach the market size in 1 year. Government has developed a livestock technologies such as drought-tolerant, high-yielding and nutrition pasture varieties. Narrow Rab 1 that improved milk production of local breeds from 2.6 to 6.7 liters per day per animal and reduce the time taken to attain beef market weight of 400 kilograms from 7 to 4 years. Efforts are ongoing in seed multiplication of the foundation seed and delivery to the community seed growers and seed companies. This is spearheaded by NARO and NAGRIC, both agencies of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Government planted a total of 13 square miles of soya, maize, and napier in Aswa, Maruzi, Nshara, Rubona, Gotapoyo, Ruhengeri, Kasore, and Rusenke government animal breeding centers. Corn silage, 51,692 metric ton. Maize grain, 9,792 metric tons. Soybean, 3,026 metric tons. All for livestock breed government farms, ranches, and farming communities countrywide are already benefiting from this initiative. The target to produce and avail at least 42,000 metric tons of processed animal feeds to the farming communities annually. Government through NAGRIC and DB also established grain storage facilities which with total capacity of 3,000 metric tons to aid in animal feed production. Government established and operationalized a 5 metric ton per hectare feed mill in Busoga, sub-region to process livestock feeds for poultry layer mash, chick and duck mash, pig feed, bull breeding mash. Plan is to increase processing capacity to meet both international and external demand for livestock and poultry feeds in the region. This has a positive impact of the cost of animal feeds in the country. Establishment of floating fish feed plant in Busoga sub-region, process and avail quality and affordable fish feeds in the country. Investment alliances and the incentive were given to the Hughes Limited, an international fish feed processing company, to establish a large-scale fish feed processing plant in Njeru at a government farm. Production is expected to start by end of 2025 with an annual installed capacity of 50,000 metric tons. Government established a model mean aquaculture park, have been through partnership with private sector and community for commercial fish farming, namely Kembogo Youth Project in Kiboga, Masheda Farm in Wakiso, and Limoto Parisa Masheda Farm is already exporting farmed fish to DRC and now working on accessing EU market for farmed fish. Establish animal genetic resource and data bank in Wakiso district as a national poultry development center of excellence to produce poultry and avail at least 300,000 day-old chick per week to the farming community in Uganda and the neighboring regions. This is aimed at ensuring farmer access to profitable poultry genetics resources, skills, and knowledge in management of poultry enterprises. I can say that our farmers are really enjoying and benefiting from this facility. Establish a poultry hatchery in Kayunga, Buganda region, and Kamuri Busoga. Equip them with incubators that have the capacity to hatch at least 9,600,000 eggs annually. This effort is focused on enabling farming communities in Busoga and in Buganda and Busoga to access affordable but highly profitable poultry genetic resources. Through NAGRIC and DB, also renovated and equipped Entebbe poultry hatchery to hatch at least 3,806,000 eggs annually. Chicks have been produced and availed to farmers with the main objective of improving poultry enterprise countrywide for increased household incomes and, of course, food and nutrition security. The entity also embarked on the establishment of the Poultry Breeding and Production Center in Tororo, Bukedi, and Abim, Karamoja, to promote profitable poultry enterprises in hard-to-reach areas. These poultry hatchery centers are going to focus on production, multiplication, and avoiding multiple purpose scavenging poultry with egg production potential of up to 200 eggs per year. The entity is promoting apiary production in Pada, Acholi sub-region. A total of 400 modern beehives have already been installed at Aswa Government Ranch. A honey processing laboratory is already complete. A honey processing plant is also being established to support the initiative. Government has also produced and availed to the farmers countrywide a total of 9,042 fast maturing piglets that have an average litter size of 15 piglets. That is 5 per farrowing, 15 per farrowing. Establishment of 4 mini dairy processing facilities across the 4 regions of Uganda process dairy milk products such as pasteurized milk, yogurt, ice cream, and other related products. I'm happy to announce very serious registered achievements. Government has provided 8 mini processing plants to farmers in Mukono, Kyankwanzi, Kabare, Kamwenge, Kamuli, Wakiso, Isinjiro, and for Fort Portal City. These are currently processing yogurt, ice cream, cheese, and UHT milk, and accessing the market locally and also exporting in the neighborhood. In addition, government has provided value addition skilling center, including Entebbe Dairy Training School, Uganda Industrial Research Institute, Makerere Food Science Incubation Center. Hence, the production of milk increased from 2.8 billion liters per year in 2020-21 to 5.4 billion liters in financial year 2022-24. In the same period, the export value of milk production increased from $93 million in financial year 2021 to $275 257.5 million in financial year 23-24, and we expect to go to 360 this current year. This is attributed to the intensified enforcement and compliance by the private sector to quality standards and regulations, as well as diversification in terms of different products exported, such as whey, casein, milk powder, UHT, butter, cheese, yogurt, among others. Disease control. Government pledged to accelerate disease control measures in livestock sector to meet international standards. In the last 4 years, government has provided 19,810,750 doses of vaccine for foot and mouth disease to farmers in effort to eliminate FMD in the country. 1 million doses of lumpy skin disease, 69 district local governments and 4 public institutions. 500,000 doses of contagious bovine pneumonia, 2 million doses of PPR vaccine, and 7,000 liters of ibuprofen to protect the livestock from animal diseases, infections, burden, hence improving animal production and productivity and accessing markets, and of course guaranteeing the safety of the consumers. The ministry procured 220 pieces of pharmaceutical fridges and freezers and matching accessories and assorted laboratory reagents, consumable equipment and supplies to support control of animal vector and diseases. These were distributed to various districts, and I'm happy to announce that the cold chain facility at all our districts is very live and very active. Construction of the Western Uganda Regional Animal Disease Control Center at Sanga Stock Farm, Chiruhura District commenced. Startup activities include site holding, construction of site facilities, constructors camp, stores. This one is already started. Naro completed establishing a local antique vaccine manufacturing facility at Nachesasa in Wachiso district, produce vaccine for ticks, foot and mouth disease, and foot and mouth disease. The vaccine research and production facility is currently being equipped with the vaccine production lines. The facility has capacity to produce 20 million doses of anti-tick vaccine per year. The quantities are sufficient to cover the demand of both the country and region in control of tick resistance. Once production starts, it will enhance foreign exchange earning for the country due to the sale of vaccine to the region, and save the country US dollars 1.1 billion, which is lost annually due to tick and tick-borne diseases. It will further help the country tap into Uganda shillings 3 trillion regional market for the meat and milk. Government has adopted a multi-phased approach for controlling and eradicating of foot and mouth disease in the country. Government will carry out mass vaccination for all susceptible domestic animals twice a year. Hence, farmers will pay 100% for the cost of the vaccine, and the government will cover the cost of vaccine administration and the service of the extension workers. The National Agriculture Research Organization, NARO, has set up an AfraSafe facility at Namronge to help in management of aflatoxin in cereals which have become a threat to food safety and trade in the region. The facility will have production line with capacity to produce 5 metric tons of AfroSafe per hour. Once this facility is functional, Uganda will save an estimated amount of money equivalent to US dollars at 80 million lost annually in exporting opportunities due to aflatoxin availability in our cereals. This will also greatly impact on the economy in the terms of prevention of disease in human beings, mainly cancer, and increasing the production of quality milk and eggs for our consumers. Government continue to facilitate research in disease-resistant varieties and building capacity of farming households on the best agriculture practices, agronomy, on integrated pests, vector and disease management. Government provided 1,000 meat inspection kits, distributed 6 kits per district to increase the meat hygiene in all districts for both our local and foreign consumers. Government has furnished 13 regional laboratories to provide approximately better animal disease domestic capacity, hence increased production and productivity. The National Agriculture Research Organization has conducted a geographical clinical evaluation of the ant-tick vaccine in Kiburara prison farm, Isimba prisons farm, Maruzi government ranch, Nabuin and Mbarara research and Mbarara and Mbarara. Results reveal that the vaccine effectiveness against the multiple tick is about 93.2%, indicating that the product is fit for registration and commercialization to reduce the tick population in the country and reduce the hemorrhage of money that is lost through acaricides procurement by the farmers. MAAIF completed the construction of the equipping of an internationally accredited national meteorology laboratory at Uganda National Bureau of Standards. The laboratory will calibrate equipment used in the National Food Safety Laboratory and other agro-food processing laboratories and industries, such as lactometers, moisture meters, thermometers, hygrometers, to ensure accurate measurement and reliable testing results. This will greatly improve the safety for all Ugandans. The ministry equipped the National Fertilizer Laboratory at Namarere with a fertilizer analytical equipment. Government now has the capacity to test between 100 to 150 samples daily. This has enabled on-site testing, input quality in the field and the laboratory. Renovation and expansion of the National Seed Laboratory at Kawanda is ongoing at the level of installing the fittings, electricals, and pumping. Overall physical performance is 65%. Once it is completed, access by farmers to quality seed will be enhanced as it were in the olden days before we liberalized the seed industry. Therefore, the farmers have two options: to go to the government institutions and also to go to government facility. Renovation and expansion of national seed. The government is strengthening community seed certification of quality declared seed through establishment of seed testing laboratories at Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute spread along in the countryside. The one at Ngeta, Zadi in Irira district is already functional and used and accessed by the farmers. Government through NARO has built capacity and has embarked on development a detailed soil map for the entire country. This is to say that we are carrying out soil suitability mapping so that we can guide the farming communities which enterprises are suitable for those areas and which fertilizers to apply in case you want to indulge yourself in a specific enterprise. NARO is developing a soil map of scale 1 to 50,000. Work commenced in Greater Masaka area and already a digitized Masaka soil sheet has been produced. 66 soil type were identified as compared to the only 10 under scale 1 to 250 scale. This study found out that 64% of soils in Masaka sheet have severe limitations that either reduce the choice of plants or require special conservation practices or both. For service handling, through the parish-based production cooperatives, we are going We pledge to reduce farmers on the right post-harvest handling practices and reduce post-harvest losses. Acquire appropriate technology for post-harvest handling of the fish, beef, dairy, horticulture products. Acquire appropriate technology and physical infrastructure for post-harvest handling of cereals and grain. Government has made considerable investment in post-harvest management, including supporting farmers group with post-harvest handling equipment and establishment of storage facilities and training to increase farmer awareness of post-harvest losses. These efforts have led to reduction of post-harvest losses for grain from 37% in the year 2017-18 to about 16.4%, while storage capacity for grain in metric ton has improved from 550,000 metric tons in year 2017-18 to 1,267,000 metric tons in 2023-2024. Specific interventions include: on crop, government has supported 300 groups to establish storage facilities across the country. The storage facilities have created additional storage capacity of 82,225 metric tons. This has resulted into increasing post-harvest losses from 16.4% in financial year 23-24 compared to 37% in financial year 2017-18. Government distributed and installed 256 value addition equipment for farmer groups across the country. This is in a bid to support farmers and add value to their produce, earning better prices and access to the market. Uganda has established 5 grain storage of 5,500 metric tons capacity each in Kasese, Kayunga. In Kasese, we have 2, Kyegegwa 1, Kitagwenda 2, under Agri-Red Group for Rwenzori sub-region. Government mobilized and trained 167,653 farmer groups comprising of 343 members in business management, value addition, quality equipment, and quality requirements and the principles of cooperatives movement. Dairy. Government completed rehabilitation of 2 milk collection centers in Kyegegwa and Kataku. Government completed 2 milk collecting centers in Kyegegwa, Kataku districts, and distributed 39 units of milk cooling equipment, coolers, and generators to 39 dairy farmers organizations in milk shed within southwestern, midwest, and central to stimulate and rejuvenate dairy business activities within such an area and increase the milk industry storage capacity. Government has distributed 133 sets of milk coolers and matching generators to 867 milk handling equipment, milk cans, milk buckets, and milk machines to dairy farmers organizations across the milk shed, increasing dairy milk handling capacity to 400,000 liters, ensuring that the private sector players adhere to quality standards, government conducted 165 enforcement operations countrywide. This enforcement targeted milk transporters using unrecommended milk handling equipment, milk and milk products adulteration. In line with the dairy marketing and processing of milk and milk products, Regulation 2003, as amended in 2006 and 2016, the government has licensed and registered 1,723 dairy businesses countrywide. This includes milk sales outlets, premises, dairy equipment dealers, exporters, importers, milk processing, transporters, milk collection centers. In order to ensure quality and safety of milk and milk products for both consumers and local consumers and exporters, and enable acceptance of our dairy products on local and regional and international market, government collected and analyzed a total of 15,861 milk and milk product samples during the period under review. This was done through a non-spot testing, mobile laboratories, vans, and the National Dairy Analytical Laboratory in Rugogo at the regional dairy laboratories. Ensure regulation and performance regulatory authorities performance their role enforcing adherence to quality standard by the private sector players. In ensuring that milk handling premises, export and import consignment conform to established dairy standards and regulation, government conducted routine, impromptu, and follow-up inspections of dairy premises, equipment, and import dairy consignment. During the period under review, government has inspected a total of 9,901 dairy premises consignments countrywide. These are routine key regulatory activities conducted by the authority with the laid down procedures of handling and conforming cases. 5 mini dairy processing facilities were installed. I've already mentioned. In 2023, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Act was enacted to guide the conservation and development, marketing and utilization of fisheries resources. The process of preparation of regulation and guidelines to operationalize the law has started and expected to be finalized by the end of this financial year. Beneficiaries, besides the new, besides the law, the fishing sector is employing 146,437 fishers across 1,000 fish landing sites on the major water bodies in the country, with more than 50,000 fishing vessels. The data indicate general improvement of the production of fish from water bodies, with the total output rising from 621,000 metric tons in year 2021 to 728,000 metric tons in year 2023. The beach value of fish consequently also improved from 1,875 trillion in 2021 to 2,200 trillion in 2023. The table is attached on the report For those who want to find out the details, you can go to my presentation and read the attachment. Increase in fish output is attributed to the increased enforcement vigilance by the Fish Protection Unit and the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. To date, thousands of bird fishing appliances have been removed and destroyed on all major water bodies. This is a practice that does not please some people, but the progress is registered. At species-specific level, the small pelagic family silverfish contributed about 60% to the total fish catch, but only fetched 25% of the catch value, while the large species like Nile perch and tilapia yield less volume but move value. Therefore, it is important to note the stated improvement in the fish stock is fragile and can easily be lost if enforcement vigilance is not sustained on our water bodies. Aquaculture. Finalize implementation of the fisheries aquaculture. Yes. There are now more than 25 smallholder ponds, average size of 500 square meters, and 4,500 commercial fish cages, mainly on Lake Victoria, Albert. Aquaculture production is currently estimated at 124,000 metric tons. Many species include Nile tilapia and African catfish. There are 56 private hatcheries operated by private sector that supply fish fingering to the farmers. Kajansi Aquaculture Research and Development Center under NARO is the main center for foundation technology development for aquaculture. NARO is working on upgrading genetic quality of fish seed, but needs strong and sustainable funding in the medium and long term. A national macro aquaculture suitability assessment, which has indicated that 70% of the country is geophysically suited for aquaculture development. Model aquaculture production sites have been established in conjunction with the private sector and other agencies to showcase case aggregated commercial production system. Government has supported 77 farmers in remote wetland who voluntarily opted to fish farming instead of rice growing to establish an acre worth pond. And this is mainly to save our environment from contamination with the chemicals and percolating into our lake. The group earns 67 million per cycle for the last 3 years. The model has now been adopted in adjacent wetland villages, Papayo, where 5 ponds have so far been set up and stocked and farmed. The construction of 12 fish ponds covering 20 acres of land at Chiboga district is ongoing. Works at 93%. This will support youth, women groups to improve their incomes and livelihood, and ultimately increase the country's foreign earnings. MAAIF is working on entry requirement for farmed fish export to European markets. Masheda and other 2 commercial farms are already preparing to pioneer into that opportunity. 120 aquaculture producer cooperative societies have also been formed to mobilize and aggregate the efforts of smallholder farmers in western, central, southwestern, eastern, northern, and West Nile region of the country. These cooperatives formed a national umbrella known as Uganda Aquaculture Cooperative Union, UWACU. 780 smallholder farmers have been trained in smallholder commercial aquaculture using a standard training curriculum from different districts of Uganda. Under the ongoing climate smart agriculture transformation project 2, water-based aquaculture parks, 3 pond-based aquaculture parks, and 1,000 community ponds are to be set up with the focus on youth and women. NARO has deployed biological control agents to sustainably manage the water hyacinth and Kariba weeds, which had severely impacted fish production system in Uganda fish water bodies. Control was extended to lakes, rivers, swamps. Weed infestation level have drastically reduced from 90% to less than 10% in the lakes of Choga, Kwanya, and Nakua. Ongoing efforts are being made on Lake Victoria, where infestation was identified in the year 2020. These weeds are also threaten electricity generation, but this was effectively mitigated. As a result, previous infestation water bodies are now clear, allowing fish and other water-related activities such as water transport, recreation, and cage culture to proceed unimpaired. Commercialization of agriculture requires value addition and agro-processing. Agro-processing and value addition have improved through the provision of equipment, including motorized maize mills, equipment, milk coolers and generators, rice and milling equipment, the threshers, hullers, polishers, cleaners, graders, etc. The intervention has resulted in tremendous growth in the value of agricultural export of 42% from USD 1,678 billion in financial year 2021 to $2 million $2 billion 535 billion in financial year 2023-24. The proportion of the household in subsistence agriculture has reduced drastically from 68% in the financial year 2017-18 to 33% in financial year 23-23. Now, from the latest target of 55 in the NRM Manifesto, we have actually exceeded this. Instead of 55%, we have gone down to 33. This year we have achieved a lot. Specific interventions include value addition to cassava. Government through UDC has invested Uganda shillings 5.5 billion in Bukona Agro-Processing Limited in Nwoya district. The company is engaged in the processing of cassava and cereals into ethanol for cooking and has an input capacity of 100 metric tons per day to produce about 40,000 liters per day of ethanol. The factory employs 194 people directly. The factory purchased about 8,605 tons of farmers' cassava and contributed over Uganda shillings 9.027 billion to household income through payment for fuel for raw materials. The factory exported the natural liquid ethanol to Vivo Energy Kenya and earned $1,652,952 in the financial year 2022-23. Through Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, 53 farmer organizations were supposed to acquire value addition equipment for cassava processing countrywide. Value addition in fruits. At the end of financial year 2023-24, 3 fruit factories, namely Yumbe Mango Processing Plant, Kayunga Pineapple Processing Plant, and Kapeka Multi-Fruit Processing Plants were established. Yumbe Mango Processing Plant, over 80 metric tons per day. Construction of the factory was completed and the factory was technically commissioned on 23rd June 2023. The factory is processing mangoes into pulp and installed capacity of metric tons per day. The total investment by Uganda by government of Uganda is establishment of the mango processing factory in Yumbe, June 2023, is costed at 13.09 billion Uganda shillings. In Kayunga Pineapple Processing Factory, 12 metric ton per day installed. Installation of the equipment was completed, pending commissioning of the pineapple processing plant. Government of Uganda has invested 3.2 billion in this regard. In Kapeka Multi-Fruit Processing Plant, 3 metric tons per hour equipment delivered and installed and tested pending commissioning of the processing plant. The government of Uganda has spent 2,589,000,000 in this regard. Solid fruit factory was established by government of Uganda and under public-private partnership aimed at supporting variation of fruit, orange and mangoes in Sorot sub-region. Government is in the process of contracting a private company to revamp the operations. Government is planning to construct 12 metric ton hour Ngoya multi-fruit processing factory. The facility will largely contribute to reduction of post-harvest losses of fruits and vegetables by almost double from the current 35% to 70%. Government is also in the process of establishing a fruit factory at the Bukabara Agricultural College to offtake pineapple and mangoes from the Greater Ruero catchment area. Coffee processing. Government has concluded a feasibility study for establishment of a coffee soluble plant under the PPP framework. The establishment of the coffee soluble plant is estimated to cost $48 million, and the plant will greatly reduce imported soluble coffee while boosting the country's coffee export in the region. In the long run, UDC is charged with designing, constructing, and equipping the factory, provide working capital for at least 2 soluble coffee plants and 20 coffee washing stations established in central and eastern Uganda. Government under Wenzori Agri-Red program installed 57 motorized coffee pulp, 800 kg of chili per hour for 57 coffee wet processing stations under Bukonzo Organic Farmers Cooperative Union and Mount Wenzori Farmers Cooperative Union in Kasese district. The intervention have resulted in increased earning from the coffee value chain. Through MAAIF Agriculture Cluster Development Program, ACDP, 104 farmer organizations were supported to acquire value addition equipment for coffee processing. See list on the matching grants attached to my report, those who want to read the details. NARO submitted samples of cocoa body lotion and coffee yogurt to Uganda National Bureau of Standards, UNBS, which have passed the required quality parameters. An evaluation of the antioxidant potential of the scrub was also carried out. Coffee high byproduct formulation, that is a facial and body scrub, was submitted to Uganda Registration Service Bureau for registration and protection. The number of roasted local coffee brand increased from 25 in the year 2021 to 60 in the year 2023. Procured and distributed 60 wet mills and 60 motorized pulpers to coffee farmers and farmer organizations in the country to boost the coffee value chain. Coffee processing continues. The number of established value addition facilities increased from 763, 677 primary processing, 22 wet mills, 36 export grading facilities, and 28 roasters in financial year 2021 to 1,351, that is 1,093 primary processing, 131 wet mills, 37 export grading facilities, 90 roasters in financial year 22-23. Inspected 3,644 coffee trader, buying, storage, and exporters, and processors, primary processing roast and brewers, registered and licensed 1,093 coffee processing factories, 2,164 coffee buying stores, 131 wet mills, 90 coffee roasters, 132 coffee exporters, and 37 export grading facilities. Grain milling. Government through MAAIF has supported 238 farmer organizations to acquire value addition equipment for maize processing. Government through NARO has developed 11 agro-machinery prototypes, including hydraulic ram pump, rice thresher, maize sheller, forage, chopper, and food-grade cassava, cheaper, among others. Fish processing and market opportunities. There are currently 13 industrial fish processing factories indicating steady recovery from 6 factories in year 2016 compared to 21 factories in 2010, whereas in 2010, even then, the plants are operating at 40 to 50% of installed capacity due to inadequate raw materials, that is fish catch. The unutilized fish processing space in a capture fish processing plant create opportunity for farmed fish processing. More investment, therefore, should be put in aquaculture with more opportunities given to involvement of youth and women. There are many artisanal primary processing points at landing sites and urban center, drying, salting, smoking, deep frying of fish. For example, women groups in Katosi learning site in Mukono district and the lamb learning site in Masaka are involved in primary processing of silver fish and collective market access. Through our good sanitary inspection and certification services, the subsector has been able to maintain a stringent sanitary entry requirement into European Union, America, Japan markets for Uganda's processed fish. The European Union is the main importer, accounting to 75% of the total production of fish processed. Nile perch fillet is the backbone of the international export market. Fortunately, for aquaculture, a large window of export opportunity is available from the European Union, which has offered its for Uganda's aquaculture products subject to compliance with annual chemical residue monitoring program. Compliance with the requirement has been prioritized based on the projected increase in output from commercial cage fish farms. The fish more from Nile perch is emerging as is another major international export product, whose main market destination is China. However, the Mo still has the challenge of illegal smuggling to Tanzania and Kenya, where the official tax regime is much lower than Uganda. Tanzania levies 2.5% per kilogram, while Uganda charges 8% of the total batch value. However, when the Chinese market export protocol is finalized, the official access to the lucrative Chinese market will improve the value of the more products. I can inform the public and the country that the arrangements are in advanced stage. Table 3 of my presentation shows the volume of the value of fish and fish products export from 2023. The data are provisional, having been generated directly by fish inspectors from the system at the port of exit. In a major boost to fish export, Naro developed a fish smoking kit that processes high-quality smoked fish by reducing the cancer-causing compounds in our smoked fish from 40,000 ppb to 0.88 ppb, well below the maximum limit of 2 ppb set by international markets such as USA markets. We must applaud our neuroscientists for this major achievement. Women fish traders at Katosi and Chin learning sites have adopted the technology, and their businesses are thriving very, very well. Overall, Uganda currently generates about $200 million in fish export, making it the second largest export commodity, I think third at the moment. Availability of equipment for hire of equipment to support agriculture. Mechanization is critical to commercialization of agriculture in our production system. In the financial year 2023, government acquired an additional 200 tractors and mulching implements, in addition to 375 four-wheel tractors and mulching implements acquired in 2023, bringing a total number of tractors on mulching equipment to 1,080. Government also distributed an additional 600 working tractors and assorted implements, in addition to 750 units of single-axle or low-power working tractors or power tillers with accessories to support farmers to open, plow more farmland for cultivation. These small capacity equipment and machines also support value addition, irrigation, transportation on farm inputs and produce. These equipment were directly located to farmer and farmer groups through a memorandum of understanding signed between the beneficiaries and the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine and Fisheries. To ensure efficient operation of these tractors, 2,036 tractor operators and technicians have been trained and deployed from Namarere. The ministry acquired 3 sets of heavy earth moving equipment for construction of water for agricultural production facilities, valley dams, tanks, and fish ponds, farm access roads, opening and bush clearing of farmland. MAAIF plans to obtain an average of 3 more sets per year until the end of NDP3 period. More specialized equipment will also be procured under Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project for the entire value chain requirement. Access to heavy earth-moving equipment is subsidized. The ministry rate is Uganda shillings 480 per acre compared to 1,200,000 per acre charged by the private sector. This will be available at our regional mechanization center. We are setting them one by one, but we shall end up having 19 of them operational in the country. The ministry piloted the provision of tractor hire services using 16 tractor implements for hire and sustainable rate. These tractors and implements are accessed at subsidized hire rate of 80,000 per acre for plowing and harrowing and spraying, as compared to to 120,000 per acre charged by the private sector. Working with New Holland, a tractor assembly plant has been established at Nakawa under phase 1. Under phase 2, another assembly plant will be established at Namarere. Government is also supporting the private sector to establish an assembly plant for a single axle working tractor in Namave. The assembly plant is expected to cut the cost of tractor by over 40% of the current cost. Government is providing tax exemption on imported tractors. Government through MAAIF entered a memorandum of understanding with Cooper Motors to supply tractors at subsidized cost, and this has reduced the higher cost of tractors from shillings 120,000 per acre to 80,000 per acre as compared to the private sector. Government completed the construction of 7 large-scale irrigation Government completed construction of 7 large-scale irrigation schemes that include Ngenge in Queen District, 880 hectares, targeting 240 households. Wengaju in Kabarore, targeting 384, covering 384 hectares and targeting 100 households. Tochi Oyam, 550 hectares, targeting 240 households. Mubuko in Kasese, 1,290 hectares, targeting 162 households. Orenyi in Lira, 1,016 hectares, targeting 2,000 households. Dohotu in Butareja, 1,334 hectares, targeting 2,000 households. And Waderai in Pakwach, 1,000 hectares, targeting 400 households. Construction of Achomai irrigation scheme in Bukedia district, covering 1,480 hectares, targeting 1,600 households. Atari irrigation scheme in Kwen, Bulambuli district, covering 680 hectares and targeting 2,667 households. And Namatara irrigation scheme in Budaka, Mbare, Butaleja district, targeting 3,400 hectares and covering 4,923 households are ongoing. Already 87% of Achomai irrigation scheme is completed, being cultivated in this season. Government constructed 125 valley tanks of capacity ranging from 10,000 cubic meters to 50,000, both communal and individual farms across the country for livestock watering in water-stricken areas. Construction of 9 valley dams with a total capacity of 16,760 cubic meters and 16 valley tanks with a total capacity of 380,000 cubic meters in Karamoja, Nakapilipiti, Napaka, Nabilatuku, Karenga, Moroto, Kabongo, Kotido, Abimu, Amudat, and Teso in Katakwi, Serere, Amuria, Kumi, Kweni, Bukedia sub-region is ongoing at different levels of completion. Establishment of 116 solar pump irrigation system in various districts, which include Kabarore, Rubirizi, Mbarara, Katakwi, Abimu, Kweni, Kasanda, Wakiso, Isingiro, Kiruhura, Ruka, Lyantonde, Nwoya, Nakaseke, Chotera, Buyende, Busia, Kumi, Kalungu, Ruwero, Rwengo, Masaka, Nakaseke, Dokolo, Nakasongora, Kikube, Sironko, Kamuli, Kagadi, Napaka, Mukono, Katakwi, and Kamwenji. Government constructed a cumulative total of 2,050 micro irrigation facilities under U-Gift co-funding arrangement in 72 districts across the country. This fund has enabled smallholder farmers to access irrigation equipment and ultimately water for production to support all year-round production. The government pays between 25 and 75%, and the total cost of the irrigation equipment depending on the package, but with maximum contribution of 18 million shillings per scheme. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Manifesto desk for this arrangement. This so far what we have achieved, and I have given the figures. I think we have made some reasonable achievement as far as Manifesto pledges are concerned, and we continue to do so in the remaining 1 year. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Once again, please join me to give a very big applause to the Honorable Minister. This is a very big sector and is very, very fundamental in enabling our journey of wealth and job creation. So, Honorable Minister, thank you very much for this very insightful and quite elaborate presentation. Our viewers, wherever you are, I think you have been able to appreciate how far we have gone on the different commitments that we made in this sector and on our journey to socio-economic transformation through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, of course, with many other contributing sectors, but specifically on this one, I think you have been able to appreciate the journey. So, Honorable Minister, now I will make a few observations for noting, and some could be for clarification later. First of all, we want to identify with you and congratulate you on all these achievements that have been registered in this sector, which plays a very, very big role on the journey of creating wealth and jobs in this country. And many of our Ugandans are heavily engaged and employed in this area. We have seen the sector has tried as much as possible to improve the area of irrigation, and more so on small-scale irrigations. And this is intended to support commercialization of agriculture, but also to shift the reliance on rain-fed agriculture. However, we will say that this has not extended to the extent of which it is needed. We still witness many areas lacking this. I think we saw, I don't know how many, 116 of these schemes. But there was also a policy position of having each district having like one irrigation scheme. I don't know how far that has gone. Some of these small scale have also gone through other support programs like the coffee support programs. So we need to align this very well and see how best we are moving in as far as making sure that each district has this small scale irrigation. And more so in the areas, the water stressed areas, since we are now trying to support this business. We want to appreciate the efforts made in the post-harvesting handling under the subsectors of grain, beef, and dairy. I think on dairy, we have not seen the investments in the northern area, but all the other four, the remaining three regions have been taken care of. Maybe I didn't get the information very well, but the data we have from our monitoring is that northern Uganda has not yet benefited from this investment. However, more effort is needed in the fish subsector, Honorable Minister, especially when it comes to modern post-harvest management of fish. But we want to salute the efforts that have been made, especially in the deployment of UPDF, which has restored some sanity on the lakes. We had a defense and security subsector here, and this is an area they were also trying to be proud of as part of their contribution to the economy. So we pray that this is maintained, and the fish subsector still plays a very strong role in terms of employment, in terms of food security, and wealth creation. Because if there is employment, money will go to people's pockets. We want also to appreciate the efforts of the OWC in supporting the transformation of the sector. Honorable Minister, I wish to introduce Honorable Kataike, who's amidst us and part of the hosts from OWC, representing OWC. So is that one, much as she's now OP, but she's been one of your own in many of these interventions. So, and we can see the success factors that we can talk about in areas of the prime crops, especially supply of the inputs, and how they later transform into the different foreign exchange earnings into the country. However, Honorable Minister, we still have a challenge on the provision of extension services, which is very critical to the success of this sector, but also more importantly, on our flagship project of PDM. PDM, you know, now is our flagship project to support this journey of wealth creation. These other interventions as a sector had led to we can see already a big number of our citizens crossing from subsistence to cash economy. So now with PDM, if it is fully supported, we see that many of our people now will be in the cash economy. So this area needs to be critically looked at, Honorable Minister. We still have a challenge on the access of tools to mechanization. We want to appreciate the efforts so far of the different tractorization program that has been so far implemented. However, Honorable Minister, you are aware, even in the manifesto, we had committed to supply some hose, because many of our people are still small acre holders, and a hoe is still critical, but that does not stop us from also focusing on the commercialization of this important sector. I think as this sector, we also need to embrace the 4-acre model, since the president is also emphasizing this. We need to know the status on how we have moved on this. I mean, like how many farmers have embraced this across the country, and how the sector is also trying to support the different players that have embraced this 4-acre model, which is meant to sort of high performance based on low or small land holdings. Honorable Minister, majority of the commitments under the subsectors of rice and horticulture are still lagging behind. I think there are many commitments we had made in the rice subsector, especially in the areas of the eastern region, which we have not taken up. And horticulture, I think we have not made significant investments to support this area. There was a specific commitment on construction of a community grain store in Usoga and Okedi sub-regions. I don't know whether this has been done, and if it was, maybe it has not come to our attention, but we have not witnessed it during our monitoring program. Value addition is becoming a necessity in the way we move towards even on the industrial agenda, because we can start with our raw products and add value through agro-processing, and then probably we could move into bigger manufacturing sector. So it is still a vital process for the majority of the products from this sector, and I think maybe we could look at the policy position and see how we could convince a more private sector-led approach to this process on most of the products that are harvested. The other day we had a presentation from Minister of Trade, and we are trying to share with him in this area, especially on the issue of certification, because many of the small SMEs who have invested in this area still have a challenge on some of their products which have gone through this value addition process being allowed on the markets because they do not satisfy, they do not conform to the standards. Lastly, but not least, Honorable Minister, is the issue of tea. Tea is a prime crop in this country, and you know it is supporting many of the households in the country. Yes, we are aware of the comments by His Excellency on this sector, but it is still a crop that supports many households, and the challenges are really known. Largely, it could be global issues and the quality of this, but this could be improved through regulatory enforcement of regulatory practices, agronomical practices for this crop, and as you are stating rightly here, you can see how much the country has also been able to benefit from the different interventions that were made in the past in this subsector of tea, and we still have many outcries out there because this has also been a strong support in terms of income generation at a household level. I think lastly is the issue of the vaccines, which I think they have been under process for, I don't know whether under trials or some have been approved for, especially in the areas of ECF and other related problems that continue to affect our animal husbandry and the industry at large. So, Honorable Minister, these are the observations from the manifesto unit. I now going to invite other observations questions from the partners who are media members, and then we invite you again to make response, and then we conclude. So I now want to invite observations and questions from the audience, and then we go through this and conclude. You know, in the afternoon we have another session. Yes, your name, media house, and then your observation. Thank you. And let's be quick. Let's be quick.
Thank you. My name is Owen Kaswami from Baba TV. Honorable Minister, is growing worried from Soga sub-region, having heard of the plan for those who are growing rice in swamps, that there could be a plan for them to be removed from the swamps and possibly give them alternative ways, economic ways. I wish to know how far government has gone with this, in case it's still going on the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Somebody there, a lady.
Thank you so much. I'm Winnie from CTV. NRM Minister, thank you for your presentation.
Repeat for the minister your names and the media house.
Winnie, I never saw you CTV.
Okay.
You shared with us most of the achievements. We congratulate you, but we'd like to know some of the challenges that the ministry has encountered. Thank you.
Good. Good observation, Honorable Minister. I think this is important because we cannot say all this has been achieved without challenges, and probably the plans you have on the remaining areas that are not yet touched. Is that all? So if that is all, allow me, Honorable Minister, to invite you once again and you make your comments, but also you are at liberty to invite any of these technical teams of yours for further clarification. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will start with the observation. One is on rain-fed agriculture. Uganda, we have been boasting of good fertile soil and good rain. But there are so many things that have happened that require us to change the way of doing farming business. First of all, Uganda's land is not expanding. Secondly, we have climate change with us as a result of man activities and degradation of environment. And thirdly, soil exhaustion is setting in. If you plow a crop, many times you need to add on nutrients. So the manifesto desk, you are spot on. We can no longer rely on rain-fed agriculture for producing enough food for ourselves and for our household. Therefore, we have to engage scientific methods of providing water during shortage of water, and we can produce sustainably throughout the year. Two, our soils are fertile, yes, but we need to do more and add on nutrients. That's why we are talking of fertilizers in my presentation. Three, we are no longer talking of production only. we are preoccupied with productivity. Productivity is the efficiency, is the unit of input-output ratio. That's why in my presentation, I was talking about agencies' mandates, especially narrow and NABRIC. You need high yielding and high resistant varieties to deliver efficient production to make it meaningful commercial farming. Therefore, I want to say that the ministry is dealing with all these squarely in different interventions using different agencies and departments. Irrigation, fertilizer, high yielding variety, even for animals, stocking material is very important. You have a cow is eating the same time with another cow. One is giving you 800 kilograms, another one is giving you 400. You are not in the, you are in the same market, but you are not doing the same business profitably. You have another cow is eating the same food, is giving you 30 liters, another one is giving 2 liters. They are eating the same food. You are not doing good business. So efficiency, that's what we refer to as productivity. And therefore, in both animal and crop resources, we are looking at nutrition, plant quality, plant resilience. In animal, the same. We are looking at genetics. We are looking at resilience. We are looking at efficiency. And of course, we are looking at animal nutrition, plant nutrition. We are looking at disease control squarely to make sure that we produce effectively and profitably. You mentioned post-harvest handling. In some areas, we have not covered sufficiently, but this is subject to resource constraint. But we have tried. If you look at the numbers, where we have come from, we are moving forward. Hopefully, by end of next year, we shall even be more ahead. But this depends on resource constraint. But I must be quick to say that the project I mentioned of climate smart agriculture has components of post-service handling in both livestock and crop resources, including the fish industry. You mentioned that we are talking of processing in mid-row, in central, west, midwest, partly eastern, but we are not in the north. I must say that processing is demand-driven. They must go to where the raw material is. But the good news is that we have now started, as you heard from my report, we have revived the dairy industry in northern Uganda. We have established a regional center for regulation. We have given them coolers. And the livestock population has tremendously increased. At the table of my report, the population of cattle is increasing in northern Uganda. But also you must notice that it is in the northern Uganda that the factory for cassavas are, because cassava is available. You also notice that much of the coffee concentration is in the central and the partly western, because that is where coffee is available. If you look at Mbale, taking a lion's share of the coffee, and Uganda, because that's Mbale where the coffee is. So somehow, the distribution of industry is demand-driven and commodity-specific. But I'm happy to say that coffee is coming up in northern Uganda. Dairy and general livestock production is coming in northern Uganda. Another observation which is correct, and I have to clarify, is the fisheries. We had 23 factories. They closed. Actually, by the time the president intervened to put in protection unit, they had gone to 4. We have now revived them to 13. We are not still at our best, but we are improving. The water bodies are recovering. We, however, need to look at things differently. Uganda, we are endowed. 25% of Uganda's surface is water bodies, including swamps. And our water is fresh. We have the best environment for fish farming. And that's why in our report we are mentioning distribution of fish fish farming across the entire country, and also the hatcheries spread to all parts of the country because it is viable. We need to put more money in fisheries and some of these sectors to get meaningful gains, because fish at our statistics now is number 3, but used to be number 2, and at one time it was threatening to be number 1. So there's a lot of potential in fishing and aquaculture. But I'm happy to say that Ugandans now have taken up interest in fishing industry. And we must applaud the women and the youth on the value addition on our water bodies. Another observation is food and nutrition security. We say we have registered success, but I want to say that we have registered success on both human and animal feeds. Those figures which I read out in our report, they are true, but we could do better. We have not done considerable investment in this regard. If we get more investment in this regard, we shall certainly not only feed ourselves and our animals, but we can feed the entire region. The good news is that we have stopped importation, much of the imported feeds for our animals and for our population, and we are feeding ourselves. The other good news is that the animal feed policy was adopted and the law is in place. So we need only to add on more money and do more of this. I'm also happy to note that all government land which used to be idle is all utilized. Narrow, prisons, NAGRIC, UPDF, they are all involved in production. We have also prioritized feed processing in our country across the subsectors, in the crop resources, in animal resources, and in the fisheries. OWC role. OWC was a very successful operation. They worked with our agencies to make sure that deliveries were timely, and also supervised the planting and stocking process. We applaud, especially in coffee, in tea, and livestock in general. Extension work. The level of extension per household is still very low. One of the benefits we are going to get from rationalization is that the money saved is going to employ more extension workers. And therefore, these extension workers will spur PDM success and reduce the prevalence of both food shortage and poverty in our communities. Extension workers, you are aware, government has increased the remuneration of all scientists. So we have also stepped up our working relationship with local government, and extension workers are expected to increase in number and ratio improve and make sure the PDM success story is not lost. You mentioned about mechanization. We are still low. Yes, but that's what the capacity of the resources we have. We can never feed our communities with a hand hoe. That is one. Our women are not tractors. Even milking a cow, if you have 10 cows and one is milking 50 liters, you don't need one person to milk those 10 cows. You will not manage them. You need machines. So if you have to beat the season, you need a tractor. Because if you are going to dig 10 acres with a hoe, by the time you finish, the rains are gone. So we are putting more emphasis on mechanization, and we are establishing 19 regional centers. However, as you observed, the funding is low, and we decided to take one by one rather than spreading inefficiencies. So some of the centers are not established, but distribution is even. There's one in the east, one in the north, 2 in the central, 1 in the west, and 1 in Midwest. Those are there, they are not fully operational, but they can assist. And we hope by end of next year, funds allowing, we shall have half of them operational. Again, on mechanization, the small tillers, land like in the east, which is flat, these tillers can do tremendous work. And our experience with the cooperatives, if you have cooperatives of farmers, doing what, this machine can do a lot of work. And those who are using them, they are really making a lot of tangible results, and transformation is high. Transportation, tilling, they have replaced the ox plow. So I think this is the way to go, and we still need the support of all stakeholders to embrace mechanization. The 4-acre model by His Excellency the President. You wanted to know the status. The status is actually revealed in our reporting system. If you see the shift from low value crop, you see cotton, it's not that we are not focusing on cotton, but people are moving away from cotton because they are small holders. That means they are getting the message. People are moving away from maize production, those who have small land, because they want to add value. The fruits is going up because it's high crop, and people know with small holders you can get more money in these commodities. So zero grazing, poultry, the adoption is on the increase. So I want to say the President's message is sinking across the country. Even without us going there, people are doing it by themselves. People never used to do piggery. But if you can know the amount of on piggery, people never used to do zero grazing. But we had to stop, to suspend selling of stocks on our farm massively because the farms were getting empty. People are taking cows for grazing, for zero grazing. I can see one of my successful farmers here in attendance. So people are adopting the method. You make a observation. We have not done substantive investment in hotels. We have done, I think we need my people from crop resources. I will ask one to come and explain after I have made my remarks. But we have done successful story in horticulture, especially vegetables. The challenge we have is exporting them to markets. Uganda is landlocked. You need a cold chain facility from here to where they are demanded. And we are doing it on plane. It's very profitable when transport is on plane. We are hopefully that with intervention of His Excellency the President and the President of the Republic of Tanzania, when this standard gauge and the efficiency at the harbor, if we can have these containers cleared in 3 days, we have an opportunity to scale up horticulture. We have had an engagement with our counterpart in the Middle East. They want tons and tons of our vegetables. But we cannot access the massive market because of transport and the time from production to delivery. But once this is minimized, we shall be in business. And also, encouraging public sector investment in value addition. We do, and if you look at our figures in our report, when you go to production, we have succeeded. Post-harvest handling, we have succeeded. That's why we are attracting investment now in value addition. In milk processing alone, we have small and medium processors to the tune of 168. Major ones are now 10, and one of them processing 1 million liters of milk per day. So coffee, we have several prospective processors coming in. But I want to thank the President for his continued effort in this regard and for providing UDC with money to partner with the private sector and mainly Ugandans to put up these enterprises, especially the processing companies. I would implore use this platform of the Manifesto Week to ask Ugandans to think of investors within themselves, not investors from outside. Together, we can work together and invest in any enterprise and add value. Those farmers we have supported with enterprise, they are doing very well. We are providing loan, cheap loan for agro-credit facility. I think Minister of Finance must have mentioned. But the ministry beneficiary, I want to say that people must think of investing in the sector because the environment of business is clear and the government has provided different levels of investment. At PDM, we have the smallholders. The medium and large agro-credit facility. This afternoon, we are commissioning for nucleus and commission farmers money, which the President pledged at Ministry of Finance. I'm sure the press will be there to cover this function at 3 o'clock. Tea, we have a lot of potential, but we have problems that we are addressing. The first one is the crop husbandry. We need more extension workers to help the tea farmers. And the plantation owners, I think now they have learned the hard way. Picking is 2 plus 1, not 3 plus 1. They have been doing the wrong way and adulterating the quality of our tea. Now, we are working with the private sector, we are working with the processor to make sure that one is done. Soil facility mapping, we are doing so, and the government is intervening in fertilizer. Government has waived off all taxes on the fertilizers. We are encouraging organic fertilizers. Whatever we produce here in Uganda is organically produced. We will not allow chemical fertilizers to adulterate our soils and the products we grow from soils, including animals. We also do not allow animals to feed on feeds of animal origin to make sure that our meat, our milk, our eggs are all organically produced. So tea has another challenge of branding, and we are working closely with the Ministry of Trade to brand our tea. Our tea grows as Kenya, our avocado. I know some people are exporting avocado. People come with boxes labeled Kenya products, they pack avocados and they go. So we need to brand our products. We are working with Ministry of Trade. I had an interaction with my minister friend, Honorable Bahati, and I think we are working on this one. You mentioned about vaccine. Vaccine is very delicate. From the narrow results, we should have started using this vaccine. But since we are trading in animal products with our counterparts, neighbors, and international community, we must make sure they accept this vaccine. Because if you do and they have not approved, they can refuse your milk, they can refuse your meat. Same with poultry, same with everything. So we are always very cautious. We make sure we follow all the steps. Because the reports we have from our scientists is a success story of ant-tick. FMD, we have decided not to have FMD here on Ugandan soil, not forever. So we are changing the policy. The farmers will pay the cost of vaccine twice a year, and we shall pay the cost of administration. No farmer should be charged extra. We are putting a mechanism, we are moving out, we are sensitizing the public. Already, 80% of our national herd is covered. So we are going to start almost on a clean plate. So I am quite sure that even this Christmas, we should not have a quarantine anywhere, because most of our herds are immunized. And I want to thank the President for his support. Without his support, we would not have achieved this success story. The same vaccine for goats, vaccine for our poultry industry. We have to make sure we invest in prevention of diseases than curing them. Because curing them, in the process, you are contaminating the product. You have chemical residue, you have antibiotic residue. So we are investing in more prevention, and I think that was also a correct observation. UTV, Busoga sub-region. Before I leave tea, there's something I missed to explain. You see, tea, you must harvest tea and start the process immediately. So you cannot grow tea here when the factory is in Kanungu. So we are trying to make sure that where there is tea, there is a factory for tea and mechanism to make sure that it is worked in time without adulteration. We are working with Ministry of Trade, with the private sector, and it's now multi-sector. I think there was a mistake to leave it to trade and also for agriculture to work alone on these plantation crops like tea and sugarcane. But now it is multi-sectoral and we are going to achieve results. Baba TV. In the Busoga sub-region, farmers were encouraged to go from the swamp to grow rice. And he is not sure how far government has gone and whether these people are assisted. I have good news that 2 enterprises were identified as for immediate attention. One was zero grazing unit, and we have given 500 dairy cows to those people in the swamps because the cows will not adulterate, will not put chemicals in the water, and we have succeeded. I am getting reports that people are transforming themselves. 2, fish farming. You notice that those areas is where we have concentrated our machinery for fish ponds. We are encouraging people to work together. The challenge we have with Uganda, and everybody wants to work alone. We have to get a culture of working together and share what comes out of our sweat together. Because if you are 2 acres and you have 70 households, are you going to have 70 ponds in that area? You'd rather have one large pond, work together as a fish cooperative, and produce together and share the profits. That's the model we are encouraging. We are also encouraging planting of high value crop in that area. One of them is hash avocado and citrus fruits because they do very well in that region. So we are popularizing this, and we have given out enterprise selection for those areas to make sure that the farming community is informed on decision for investment in any enterprises. UBC, Madam Aine Mbabazi. Success stories, yes, but you have challenges. Well, the first challenge is investment in the sector. Because as the AU member and when we adopted the CADIP, we should be investing at least 10% of our budget in the agriculture sector. But because of our competing priorities, government has decided to deal with one sector at a time. So we are still below the, I think now we are 2.5 now percent, as opposed to 10%. That's a challenge. The second challenge is the mindset change of our communities, which we are working on. I've been at pain to see young men going to do dirty jobs outside. And yet we have very productive land. Here there are crops you can grow and which are not labor intensive and still earn money. Citrus is one of them. Apiary. In my report, I talked briefly about apiary. But you know, we are endowed with the natural forests. Here you can do apiary. It is not labor intensive. The honey is correct, the bees collect the honey. You only need to harvest. We have had our farmers having a MOU with the Wildlife Authority and Forestry Authority. And we have supplied them with hives. We are exporting organic honey. A week ago, our honey was identified as one of the best honey in Africa. So, there is a lot to do here. Even people running here in town looking for quota jobs. So one of the challenges is mindset change. People think they can only be employed by government. You cannot employ yourself. Some of us parents are not giving our children land for production. You are sending them to look for jobs. And yet, you have 2 square miles. They are just there. The cows are roaming there. Instead of actually selling some of them and buying a tractor and tilling the land and feeding the cows and making them more. We need to change. It's a continuous process. The other challenge we have as a ministry, of course, is wars in the region. We have places like Karamoja, people are fighting among themselves, are not producing. It's a big nuisance. You can't, those of you who have been to Karamoja, Karamoja is has one of the most fertile soils we have. They don't have rain as much as we do, but they get enough rain, and their soils are very fertile. But they are raiding cows, they are fighting, and we need to stop these fights. I'm happy government is handling it very firmly. Mindset change still. Nomadism. About 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I was told some people took cows to Karangara palm plantation. Can you imagine? This is a project. When they see palm, they think this grass is for them to graze. So I had to give instruction for those people to be prosecuted and be moved out of the plantation. How can you have 700 cows and you cannot sell some of them for a holding capacity of 100 of them? Very productive. So, mindset change is still a problem, and we need the press, we need everybody to make success in whatever we do. And finally, the youth. The youth are very active. We need to use the youth, to use their capacity in our production system. Most of our communities are not engaging the youth. I'm sure where I come from is similar to where all of you come from. The culture of pool table. The chefs you hear in the village, and I meet them across the country, wherever I go. In Irida, in Arua, in Chisoro, where I've gone, they raise the issue of safety, of chicken, matoke, goat. I had on UBC, last night I was listening UBC. There was a program on Christmas festivity. And one of them was saying they used to gather, but these days they don't gather, because when they gather and they go home, they find things are missing at home. So they have to do festival during the day to make sure that at night they are there to gather their wealth, both crop and animal resources. Therefore, we need to engage the youth, and I think we need to do a lot of parenthood to make sure that the youth are involved in the production system rather than being consumptive and actually ending up being destruction. Thank you very much for your attention, and I think I've tried to answer all of them.
Thank you very much. Once again, let's put our hands together for a big applause to the Minister. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, once again, we want to thank you and your team for coming to share with the country on this journey. And I believe all citizens where you are, you have been able to benefit from what the party wished for Ugandans and how the government is executing that agenda. So I want now to declare this session formally closed. We will be back here at 2:30 for the next session, which will be now, many of you, this is your mother ministry, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. So 2:30, let's meet here again and then we kick off. So please stand up for the national anthems in reverse order as we conclude. Honorable Minister, after that we will invite you for a photo opportunity with your team. Thank you. Thank you and have a blessed afternoon.